We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you another episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, already in progress.
20. Did you
Yeah,
notice? Well, before I forget, that's why flamingos stand on one leg. But
yeah.
not always, but that's
You know why
generally.
they're pink, right?
We talked about that already.
No, their legs.
Oh,
I think it's a circulatory thing. It
they're shy. I don't
has
know.
nothing to do with the shrimp.
Nothing?
What about the flamingos that hang out in fresh water? Why are they pink?
Are there flamingos in fresh water?
I don't know.
All right.
I've never. Do you like flamingos? I mean, as
I
the
mean,
bird.
I'm not, I really don't have an, I'm kind of neutral towards flamingos.
What are they? I mean, they're not predators.
They're, well, they eat shrimp, scrimps.
I mean, what's their purpose? I mean, they're other than the thing that people put in their yard now. You know what I mean? Do you?
Well, it's so
Was
you
that
know how
parrot
old you
heads
are.
that did that?
It's so you know how old you are, right? You get out in the morning, if there's 40 flamingos in your yard, you're 40.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's natural age keeper.
I thought
That's
it
why
was
no one
the
can lie.
I thought it was the parrot heads that did it.
No, I think that's for anything, any birthday celebration or anything like that.
Flamingos.
Yeah. You know, those yard ones, the plastic ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know, you no, I put real flamingos out.
I just get
So
real ones and I stake them into a stake and they can't move. I'll show
that
you.
would be awesome for like someone's 50th or 60th. Put 50 real
Just
flamingos
flapping
in the
around in the
yard,
front yard. I don't think PETA would appreciate that.
crapping everywhere.
In case you didn't know, folks, we're back.
Yes.
And I have a new background, Woody.
Yeah, look at that.
Well, it's not a background, it's real.
Well, so we finally get to see this secret layer of Dave
Yeah,
Field.
so I built a men's bathroom. I built
I believe that.
a man what do you call my thing? A man's lounge, a she shed, but it's a
No,
man.
yeah, it's a she shed, Dave,
What do you
for
call it? A
you.
man room?
Man cave.
Man cave. But it's more like a man library because I'm very studious and well read.
Did you get that from the Vanderbilt, was it the Biltmore estate? Have
Yes,
you
the
ever been
Biltmore.
there?
Yeah, I have. That's one of my we honeymooned up there. My wife and I did.
Really?
Yeah, most people go
Thanks.
to the beach. We went
Thanks for
to
inviting me.
that would have been awkward.
Did you stay on property? No,
No,
because that
so
you got married long enough ago. They didn't have all that.
yeah, the Biltmore wasn't there.
Well, I meant the hotel and everything to
No,
stay
it
on
was
property.
there. We stayed at the okay, here comes Pat Kelly's going to weigh in just a second. We stayed at the big hotel up on the mountain, um,
The
something lodge.
green, um, Greenleaf or something like that. No.
Golly, it's the one that's got the
Oh, I know
fireplace.
Grove Park Inn.
Grove Park Inn. That's
Yeah,
it.
now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I stayed there
Pat Kelly's
once.
out there going Grove Park Inn, Grove Park Inn. We'll
Yeah,
talk about that in a minute.
I am. Yeah, I was to say, hey, it is nice to know our listeners are concerned about our health. So,
Well, we did get an email. I think we addressed somewhat Pat Kelly's concerns about you and your activities, but I think the follow-up email was he was commenting that we should probably look into some form of medication for our memory.
I totally agree.
What is that medication? I can't remember.
Prevagen.
Prevagen, because he found himself as we would stumble to try to figure out what we're trying to talk about. He was screaming at the radio, screaming at his cell phone, probably like that's our.
You
And
should
so
roll down the windows and do that, so other walkers by will wonder why he's screaming. Grove
what's wrong
Park
with that
Inn.
guy? Howie Long. Why does that guy keep saying that? But
Exactly. Well, thank you, Mr. Kelly, for being
yeah,
concerned about our health.
well, and I told him that
That's a HIPAA violation.
it was part of our plan to encourage listener engagement, but the Howie Long thing was a total synapse on my part. I couldn't remember it. So
I do that all the time, especially with names or like spaghetti thrown on a wall to me. I can't
uh,
even visualize it.
I don't know if it's something that's coming. I don't know that I've ever been in this situation where I have to reflect upon so many stories. I don't walk around every day telling, complete strangers, hey, my name's Dave, and I got about an hour's worth of stories I want to tell you. I don't do that. And
And,
so,
and we don't do show prep either. I think that's
no, we don't.
probably
No
yeah.
prep. Prep. Well, I did a little prep before the show when we came in. And I gotta say,
Unprepping is what you did.
I'm in a very happy place, by the way, with that. My regularity is really working out well. So,
I don't know why, but that was very uncomfortable for me. Knowing that,
well,
will
for the
you
folks, for the kids at home, we did take the video in there, and it was it was a little uncomfortable, unsettling.
YouTube blurred it, so we had to remove it. But no, you walked away to go use the restroom, and that was troubling to me. That I now had this, I knew where you were and what you were doing, and that bothered me.
Well, I did wash my hands thoroughly twice.
Thank you. Did you use the Febreze?
No, mine don't.
Oh,
Mine
get
are not
out of here.
odorous.
Get out of
Rose
here.
hips and ginger. So what mine smells like. Now, before we get too far into the weeds here,
Well, there's our poop talk for the week.
well, yeah, and it didn't take us 30 minutes to get there either. But I gotta plug in for applesauce. Those little packets of applesauce. If you're over, say, 50 years old,
Yeah.
don't get off on buying the fiber and stuff. Just get your pack of the old applesauce and one of those at night before you go to bed, and it's
Two in the morning, one for lunch.
smooth glide, baby. All
Hey,
right, we've spent too much time.
did you realize today is 42424?
I did see that. I saw something that said, tomorrow will be
Oh, really? Okay.
424. Yeah, what does it do? No, what does it do for us? Oh,
Nothing.
424.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
looking
you
at
don't
the thing.
say the zero. You do
424.
42424. Or
But
if
there's
you're in Europe, it's 24424.
yeah, is that numerology, or is
I'm
it just
sure you could make something out of it.
the
I just
date?
thought it was interesting. I wrote the date down when I started a meeting this morning, and I had to share it with everyone in the meeting, and most were like, "Oh yeah, it is 42424."
No, does that won't ever happen again in our lifetime, right?
No, that's the
Well,
last
no,
day.
it could be
No,
3024.
well, yeah,
That's not our lifetime, is it?
no.
I guess not. I don't know whose lifetime we're talking. Maybe by then we'll be frozen.
It'll be the next Sigma Chi reunion.
Yeah, see you in 50 years. No, you won't.
That's so depressing. When I left the night from the gala, I'm like, someone said, "Let's do it again." I'm like, "Yeah, 106, man." That'll
Yeah.
be- so
There'll probably be a couple more ambulances at the place.
well,
We
you
got to
never
get back
know.
to the home.
Yeah,
Woody
what kind of
crapped
breakthrough?
himself. We got to get back to the home.
What kind of medical
I'll probably be
breakthrough
going through
was?
McDonald's and giving them the same guff, though, right?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
better
That
make it right, sissy.
that was an enjoyable exchange you had at the girl did nothing, and
Well,
you got nasty with her.
I do have a
You
little. I have a moment of remorse, and you were correct to correct me. And I had that flashback of the guy throwing the coffee across the counter that day. I was that guy for a moment. It was scary. All
oh,
right, I apologize.
it's all
I mean,
right.
what do you do? I'm human, for God's sakes. All right,
Um,
what's going on?
we
Do we?
got new listeners.
Well, we should mention our guys that have weighed in. I did get a comment from Charles Bell, or
Very
his
good.
friends call him.
Ding dong,
What did they say?
ding dong.
Oh yeah,
Bell. All right.
Charles Bell. We want to give a shout out to you, buddy, because he gave me a Facebook message. I think he was asking for my cell number. I don't know what he's gonna do. Prank call me or something.
Ugly. Yeah.
Hey, I got one of those. Hey, Charles. Hi, Kim, and all you guys that are listening over there. And then, of course, you wanted to. Is your buddy one of our buddy?
Yeah, yeah. Rick Price. He's a new listener. He's a subscriber on our YouTube channel,
Wow.
which subscribe. I had to remember which corner it's in. Subscribe, please. Yeah. There you go. You're getting it, Dave. You're getting it.
It looks different on mine.
Oh, on your side?
I don't know.
It's backwards.
Yeah.
But you know what? He probably doesn't even know this, but he had an enormous amount with to do with me going to UCF and then joining Sigma Chi.
Enormous.
Yes. I was I had graduated high school and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do for college. I hadn't really thought about it too much. I knew I'd looked into UCF and we worked together in my high school years. He was already in community college in Daytona, and one afternoon we're working together and he goes, "Oh, I'm thinking about going to UCF." I'm like, "Oh," I said, "I've been looking at it." And then so we tore off down there the next week and he had another friend that was getting an apartment down there. So, everything lined up for me to go to UCF. And then he knew uh, Pat Kelly, as a matter of fact. And
And you
so,
get a did you go to
we
a
went to
party?
the Sigma Chi Rush, and
You got a bid?
well, yeah, I had to beg for it. I
Did
think
they
I was, what do they
did
call
they
that
get a
when
good look
you're,
at you?
when you come in on someone else's shoulders? What do they call that? The pity bid or something like that,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Someone else's shoulders? That sounds kind of
Well, like, hey, if we give this guy a bid, we better give his friend a bid, kind of thing. So Rick probably got a bid, and they're like, we better give that other guy a bid.
package
So,
deal. I don't know. I've never
yeah,
heard that.
package
Never heard
deal.
that before.
Yeah.
What do
So
you were a standalone project.
it's a
I
project, I
could see
agree.
myself being in the meeting that night after bids or the pre-night to give out bids and saying, when your face came up on the screen, was it stud?
You
This
weren't
guy.
even there, so you
I'm just
can't
trying
say
to
that.
put myself in that meeting
Oh,
because
oh.
I've been in those meetings before where people are like, "Oh God, no, no, not this guy."
It's we got the fake guy a bid one.
Fake.
Yeah, he was the lead guitarist for Boston, Tom something, and me and Brett. So me and the
You
hotelier,
guys put a guy in the system and then talk good about him, and
right?
then
We were,
get enough
yes.
votes to get a bid.
Yes, we were. So we were sitting
Oh,
at the
that's
front
great.
table at the Rush party, and I'll have to look up the guy's name, Tom something. And Pat Kelly's yelling at us right now, probably. Um, and so Brad filled out one of those questionnaire forms with the lead. He's like, "I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm Tom, whatever," and
Right.
And so we just threw it in the thing, and every Rush party we filled out a tag that he attended it, and as everybody speaks on behalf of a pledge,
Yeah.
promising pledge, where people are standing up going, "I don't know this guy. I can't
This
picture him."
guy's so
Like,
cool, man. You
all
got to meet
right.
him.
So me and the hotelier and a few other people that you were in on it, were you not? I
It
swear
sounds like
you were
something
in
I
on it.
would be a part of,
Right.
but I
And
can't
so we kept
remember.
standing up saying he had to leave early, man. He was working, but great guy. And then
He's Sigma
somebody,
Chi material.
and then someone stands up and it's like, "Boston, Massachusetts, Tom." He's just about to put two and two together. It's the guy from the Boston band. And we're like, "Shut up, sit down." You can't do it. And then he got enough votes. So,
Did he get a bid?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that is hilarious.
And then we broke the news later. He was the lead guitarist
Why
for
were we
Boston
such pricks, man? I mean, that was
because
our
it was
total
fun.
MO. Our MO was just to get over on our members and like, you stupid people.
It's amazing we got invited back.
All I remember was going to a house court meeting one time. And remember, the conversation was, we're getting a house. They were getting close to getting a house. House courts get together. I think Fidello was the consul at the time. And so
Yes,
Brad, myself, I think Sam, we can
probably.
get a Sam
Oh,
update too if we have one,
yeah.
by the way. Anyway, so a couple of us went to the house court meeting, and it was, when you're in college, you don't realize how those meetings work, but they were like a bunch of adults, and we weren't.
People with
And
money.
yeah, and things move slower, because they want to make good decisions. And so we were all leaving the party. We're like, God, this thing's the meeting. We're like, this sucks. These guys are never going to get anything done. So I said, listen, we're going to go back to the meeting and completely tell a different story. We're going to tell them that it's on fire, it's happening. And they're like, okay. I'm like, just follow my lead because I was first to talk, right?
All right.
So I remember saying, hey guys, listen, we were at House Core and Fidel was looking at me like, Theus, what are you doing? And I said, all I know is this: we need to go to Home Depot and get a couple shovels and some gold spray paint because we're going to have groundbreaking next week for the house. And as soon as we said that, people were writing notes like, "Are we going to be able to drink on campus? Are we going to do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's going to be great."
What's
And
the house look like?
I think it got around to Sam, and Sam was like, "Nah, we're just kidding." That was our total MO, is just to screw with everybody.
There's like Theus is a sockdologer, so
okay. What am I?
A sockdologer.
What is a sockdologer?
Sockdologer.
Okay,
that's our word of the week.
Hold on, let's see if I can break it down.
There's no way you're getting this one.
Hold on, sockdologer.
I had to squeeze. It's not a perfect fit, so don't.
Sockdologer. I don't know. Can I call her?
Yeah, let's see if you can. I'm pretty sure I pronounced it correctly.
Sockdologer.
Sockdologer.
Is Socrates in there?
No. Well, I mean, he is a sockdologer. He's a sockdologer.
Something knowledgeable.
Yeah. It's about a person. Yeah. You know what? It's a noun, so I used it right. Yeah.
Alexa, define sockdologer.
From Kiddle.co. A sock puppet is a false identity used on the internet intended to hide a person's real identity.
Sherry, oh God, here I go. I want to pull a name. Sherry and Muffin, whatever the lamb's name was.
Pat Kelly. What is the name of that?
Please chime in.
No, what was the name of that guy?
Sherry Lewis.
The old lady, right?
Yeah, Sherry Lewis. And what was it was a lamb.
It was a lamb that had the red, red, and I could see the sock.
You asked
Lammy?
Alexa about sockdologist. See if you can get that right. I'll look it up.
Alexa, define sockdologist.
From rockatreach.co.
Now, here we go.
Frank Lucia, based in Palm Springs, California, U.S., is currently a founder at Sockologist Limited, bringing experience from previous roles.
All right, you can tell him to be quiet now.
Bermuda knitting, Topstick, and knit techs.
Knitting.
By the way, it was lamb chop.
Lamb chop. Well, we were close. Yeah. Lammy.
At least I got her name right.
All right, what is sockdologist?
It's an exceptional person or thing. So I actually gave you a compliment squeezing that word in.
Yeah.
So.
Dude,
So use that on your kids tomorrow. Say, you know what? You're a real sockdologer. And then you're going to be like, all right, here I go into the principal's office again.
No, I'm not doing that. But I like the idea.
Try it over tomorrow.
I got half the staff on overmorrow. Do you know? And so now they're feeding me stuff like ellipse. You know what ellipse is?
The shape?
No, it's the 3 dots that you do.
Oh, yeah. Some people I call that sometimes, and other people, I forget the other name for it now.
Ellipsis. I guess.
Whatever.
Yeah, and then did you know there's we've talked about overmorrow, which is the day after tomorrow, but there's one for the day before yesterday. It's a weird. Alexa, what is the word for day before yesterday?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, the word for the day before yesterday is yesterday.
Yesterday.
That's too hard.
Yeah,
everybody's gonna think I'm drunk. I'm saying
yesterday. It could be like that comedian my dad liked that always played the drunk, and now I can't remember his name. So Pat Kelly, what is it?
I know who you're talking about. Are you talking about the actor who always played
the
drunk?
Actor.
Yes.
But he portrayed a drunk guy, but he wasn't drunk. He was sober. He had white hair. He was a tall guy.
Yeah.
Come on, Pat, help us out.
By the way, the guitarist was Tom Scholes.
I do remember that.
So
I don't think I was in on the bit, though. I think I was.
No, you were, because I swear we had you help promote him as a good person and everything.
Because Brad was the lead on that, right?
Right. Yeah, because he put it, and then I mean, just to put icing on the cake, we also got Deborah Harriet, a little sister bit.
You could get Blonde. That's Blondie, right?
Yeah.
But her friends call her Blondie.
Right. I mean, that was a little easier one to get through at the time because no one really cared who got little sister bits. But...
Deborah Harry. That is
So,
priceless. Yeah, those. So I'm working on. I looked at all the pictures um from the 50th anniversary, and I'm going to do a Facebook post. You know, most people grab only the pictures of themselves, which that's a good narcissist does.
yeah.
But I'm calling it the great ones. Of course, I'm in there too, and you're in there as well. But I'm going to grab pictures of the great ones, the guys, couple girls. You know who I'm talking about.
There weren't a lot of girls in those
No, but there were the
pictures,
couple great
though.
ones were there.
Yeah.
But I want to do a Facebook post and I'll just put a word out for the other guys. Maybe think about doing the same thing because you know how Facebook gives you those memories in the years to come.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I've got memories that show up like 9, 10 years ago, and so I want to have it show up in 9 or 10 years, and I can from my hospital bed reflect upon it.
By the way, it's Foster Brooks.
Foster Brooks, thanks Pat for weighing
He
in.
just dialed in my other ear. So
He's Foster Brooks. Foster Brooks. His voice is probably not that high pitched though.
it is when he's pissed. Bunch of idiots.
All right.
Did
Well, good
you?
show.
Okay, one thing I'd like to talk about, and maybe you can help me. So we're still in the month of April, right? Barely.
Yeah.
I've been holding this story for a while. We just never get to it. You know what I'm tired of is on April Fool's Day, people writing, or I should say, news agencies or whatever it is, writing a story that just teeters on the brink of being insane, right? And because you don't remember it's April Fool's Day, and you're reading, you're like, what the? No, this can't be true, kind of thing. And then you're like, oh, and you get all the way to the end and like, oh, happy April Fool's Day. Do you not share my disdain?
No, I do.
I
I
mean,
think I think
every year they do the same thing.
it's kind of like low hanging fruit, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's easy, it's lazy.
Yeah.
I saw an ad. I don't know who does this, but Chick-fil-A. There's a new sandwich that came out, and it's the beef filet mignon.
And
And
that was an April Fool's thing.
yeah,
Oh, yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about.
but it got a lot of they got a lot of press for. I don't know who did that. I don't know if Chick-fil-A did it, and because it's their brand, their name,
Right.
it'd be cute, and everybody shared it. So basically, they got free advertisement for it.
Do you consider Chick-fil-A fast food?
Yeah,
I do too, but
it's
it's
drive
off.
through.
It's pretty good though. Well, there's drive-through liquor stores. Is that
Yeah.
fast food? Yeah, there used to be one by UCF. Do you know that?
When I moved to Jacksonville, it's still there. It was called Monty's, and then it became West Side Package. I don't know what it was, but they used to. This is how cool it was. They had that little overhang. It was a building, and then they had a little lean-to overhang.
Right.
And you drove up to it, and the guy
Like
would walk out with a double glass door. He'd stand in front of your car, next to your car. What do you have? And if you brought in a cup with glass, no, how did they do that?
with gasoline. Woof.
No, with ice in it. Well, they sold you those little 1 ounce shots, those bottles.
Okay. Yeah, like airplane bottles.
I'm trying to remember. They would like mix a drink. You could have a mixer in your car, like a Coke or something, and you could mix the drink right there in your car.
What was this 1950s?
And
I
not
was
too long
amazed
ago.
in when I went to New Orleans for my first time, just how different the alcohol rules are in the city, at least in the French district. So
Well, we had one near my parents' house. There was the TikTok Lounge, which was like a big clock, and the kind of motto was, "Hey, you need one for the ride home. You're coming home off of work. Let's get you started on the way home. So when you're there, you've got the pumps already primed."
yeah, you got to put up with those rapscallions
Wife
like
and kids.
Dave Theus come home to that every afternoon.
Yeah, the
Gone are the days you could keep a bottle in your desk.
well, I don't know what I know what happened. There was a guy in Orlando who killed somebody. Basically, he was loaded, and he is the reason for MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
It started in Orlando?
Yeah,
I did not know
I
that.
don't want to get into who it is because you know who it is and it'll get us in trouble. But
No way.
well, it's a company you know. Do you remember
Oh,
the company when we were in college that handed out all those free cab rides?
yeah.
It was Mears Transportation.
Okay.
And the fellow who did it, and I hate, he went to school with my brother.
And he worked for Mears?
It was his son.
Oof.
Yeah, let's be careful. I'm sure that they can't do anything to us, but anyway,
No, I mean, it's a real story.
it's a horrible story. The poor
Yeah.
guy, and I feel bad for him as much. Well, the family, the daughter was killed, and
Yeah.
so it began Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and he paid the price clearly for it. I think he lost his license forever, but he owned a transportation company.
Oh.
Yeah, so he got a cab ride everywhere. But they came out with that card. Part of the sentencing was, what are you going to do to keep people to get a free ride? And so they came out with this business card. If you get stuck at a bar and you were loaded,
Yeah.
call Yellow Cab and they'll give you a free ride home. Well, what does any good college student do with that?
Load up on those cards. Yeah. We used to get them for, I think you had to buy them at the student union for $1 or 50 cents or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
Yeah, because we were like, so where are you guys going? Well, we're going to start off over here.
It's come back in an hour. I got another coupon right here.
Another card. We're going over to Bennigan's after that.
Yeah, if I remember right, it didn't last. It was great.
Oh, because there were idiots like people that we knew. We never did.
Yeah.
This.
Oh, no, I wouldn't have done that.
People
I heard
use
stories
this-
about this
Yeah,
stuff.
a lot of stories.
So
We're going to go to Nights Out Pub.
I had no idea that started in Orlando.
Yeah.
Huh. What's the other one against drugs, though? SAD or
Hugs, sad.
Hmm.
Barbiturates.
why do they gotta be so
against-
depressing?
I don't know.
Anyhow, we don't need to make fun of
Hugs are better than drugs. That's another one.
that. Dare. That's a big
Dare.
one. You have to teach that at your school?
Is that the before the dance?
No, that's the drug use. I forget what DARE stands for. I'll look it up.
No,
but,
we got this thing. We got to do this mental health thing that we have to. Don't get me started. I'm gonna get myself in trouble.
Well, then don't do it.
I'm
DARE
not gonna do
is drug abuse resistance education.
Like anything we can do to get kids not to get themselves messed up is a good thing.
I would say so.
Parenting should be involved in that process. Hopefully,
I think that should be the main.
Yeah, that should be where it comes from. Parenting's do your job, please. So
Yeah.
other people, we don't want the government raising our kids, please. They do a horrible job at doing everything else. Don't let them raise our kids. And that's on you. All right, that's my public message for the day.
Okay. You done?
I'm done.
All right. Good show.
Good show. Thanks for joining us, folks. Catch us next week when we
You haven't done that in a while. You haven't had a fist to the sky moment.
angry man shaking his fist.
Yeah,
at the
shaking
clouds.
his fist at God. Like, why me?
I don't ever shake my fist at God.
All right, not directly, but that's
I
you're
think I'm
shaking at the
mellowing.
clouds.
Well, first of all, we've kind of. I don't know if it's been done on purpose, but we've kind of mellowed the show a little bit. I think we've gotten a little bit more professional.
Professional.
I don't know. I'm not as angry as I was when we first started this thing.
Really?
Maybe I got it all out.
It's Yeah, it's what's the it's good to talk it out, Dave. That's what this is all
Maybe
about.
this is the softer side of Dave.
And
What
once you
was
reach
that game?
behind, you get a book.
Yeah,
Read a
there's a
little
couple good ones right there on mental health and
bit. Yeah, what's that one
education.
that's with the white binder? What is that?
Just right here.
Yeah, right there. Yeah. What are
That's
those?
a leadership series that I authored a couple years ago, and I
Oh,
signed myself, and we'll get that out next week and take
you
it
put
out.
it in a
page for it.
You put it in a 3-ring binder. You didn't.
Yeah, it's right there.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
no, right there.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty though?
Yeah. I hope one day to have a you know what? It's got numbers on each shelf too. Is that so you can find books?
Well, that's part of there's a game that we play. You know, you ever seen those houses where it's a secret trap door and you push a button?
Yes. Yeah,
That's
you
what
pull
this
the
is.
book and it opens up.
Yeah, this is a man cave inside a man cave. So this is
Wow.
the inner sanctum.
Your
And
new studio.
the numbers are, you know, the game Clue.
Yes.
It's a
Mr. Plum.
yeah, it's a kind of spin on Clue, but there's numbers involved. I don't have time to
Oh.
explain it right now. But we'll get into it some other time.
Nor can you explain it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Interesting.
I did have I had kind of I do want to give a stock market report, not a real big one, but for those that might be interested in what's going on in the stock market, I don't know, but it's tanked. I sold some
Just
shares.
today, you mean?
No, it's for the
Oh.
last couple of weeks.
I thought it's been going up.
The inflation, the real kind of pseudo real inflation numbers came out recently. Not the ones the government says, oh, everything's hunky dory. No, it's not. And so that information didn't go well in the market. And then they're trying to figure out what the Fed's going to do, and they don't know. And so that uncertainty is messing with the market a bunch. And I'm sure the Biden administration is trying to salvage it, but who knows? And then
I would think so.
I took a big loss. In the old days,
You talking before the show tonight?
that was a dude. Anyway, I'm used to being in the market where a certain time of the year you do what's called harvesting losses, and the reason you do that is because if you're in a taxable account, if you're going to take losses, take them and then use the losses against your taxable income to decrease your tax liability. But I'm in a tax-free account, so I don't need to harvest losses. But I had to get the loss off the books because it was horrible. The company is the Virgin. It's the space company that the guy that owns Virgin Airlines.
Oh, yeah.
Where they launched
Richard Branson.
Yeah, Richard Branson, that guy. And they put an announcement, oh, listen, we're in the tank. We're thinking about doing a reverse split. And we're either going to go 1 to 2 or 1 for 20. And I was like, I'll have 5
How's
shares.
that a reverse split? Oh, they take 20 shares and make it 1?
Yeah.
Oh.
And when they start talking about that, I was like, we're getting out.
Is that so it doesn't become a penny stock or something?
Well, it's so the New York Stock Exchange doesn't drop.
Delist them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just said, I'm not going to play with this. I'm already in the tank. It was $200. I lost $200, but we'll make it up on some other stuff down the road. So I'm not worried.
So where you treading water now?
I'm at about 36. I didn't look at this afternoon. I'm about right at 3,700 bucks. So I'm $3,000 in. So let's call it 36. So it's
I thought you were $2,000 in. It was $3,000?
Put a little extra money in.
Oh.
Because I was doing so well.
Yeah, because you were trying
to. So I'm at 20% return.
Yeah.
So it's coming down.
Oh.
So we need to get the market out of the hole. The good news is eggs were on sale, and so as the market tanked, I had some cash and I bought some more stuff. So
you bought some eggs.
Yeah, that's a saying the big boys say. The eggs are on sale.
The big. I'm sorry, Dad. I don't run with that crowd.
Yeah, the movers and shakers.
The ones who cheat the system by having inside knowledge.
Why is it always a cheat? No cheating. Anyway, so that's the market.
A broker wouldn't you think a broker would have information before an average Joe?
The inside information, it's possible to get it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But we live in an age where information is shared so quickly via the internet that the market absorbs it pretty quickly. Now, let's say you're Nancy Pelosi, for example, or her husband. We'll call him Hammerhead.
Yeah, because they're the only two that have done this.
No, they're not. But I'm just saying, let's just say you're inside and your wife sits on a committee or your husband sits on a committee and you're getting ready to have a big government contract. Then you call your broker and say, listen, we got to buy Lockheed Martin tonight.
They all do it. And that's the really sad part. And it needs to stop. They should either freeze your assets or.
No, I tell you what would stop it. So remember I told you I was securities registered with the SEC and as an investment advisor and all that sort of stuff. So if I do it, I go to jail.
Right.
Okay. And it could be like a $250,000 fine and I go to jail and it's enforced that way. And so all you'd have to do is say the same thing to these people. Now they're going to say, well, we can't help ourselves. I mean, because we're privy to all this information. We're in it.
They don't say that.
Yes, they do. They
really?
say
that's their excuse.
Yeah. And so the way they could get around it is say, okay, you're privy to it, but you don't have to call your broker and take action.
Yeah.
And so uh, I think there's a way to do it. You send a couple of them to jail and they'll get the message, but
Yeah.
nobody wants to turn on each other because they're all doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's why they get raises and don't have term limits and everything else for that reason. You brought on a good point, though. I want to remember inside trading. Oh, did you see the news today about how say you on non-compete agreements?
At work,
Yeah.
I don't like them,
Do you
but
think they should be binding?
well, I mean, I've never. Hold on, have I?
You had to have at your brokerage
No,
firm,
I'm
right?
just thinking. No, I've never signed one.
Really? I almost always have to sign them.
I get it. I've never signed one.
Yeah. So the FTC today kind of voted on legislation that makes them non-binding. Um, I get the plus and the minus, and I thought what their rationale was. The problem is you can't just say, "Oh, it depends," right? Because then everybody fudges the law. So they kind of drew a line and said, if you're like executives and stuff will be held to their non-competes because in general they negotiate their contracts, right? Whereas me and you are like, hey, we want to offer you this job. Oh, and by the way, we need you to sign an NDA to get the job. Well, of course you're going to sign it. Or not, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, not a
no,
non-disclosure. I've been saying the
no,
wrong
yeah,
thing this whole time. I meant a non-compete.
yeah. So if you're a CEO of a company,
Makes all the
and
sense in the world.
yeah, I mean, because let's say you have a list of all your customers and your vendors, and you've got all this information, and then you get hired by a competitor, that's in the
Yeah.
same, even not even have to be in the same town, same industry, and then you're like, okay, well, I didn't sign a non-compete, so I'm gonna go across the street and give them all of our
Secrets.
information and secrets. That's not. I hate the
Yeah.
word fair, but it's not fair.
No, it's not. But
So
I'm talking about the average Joe like me and you
well, the
should.
only time I've ever seen them is when we had salespeople, and like a dealer salesperson will make a lot of times those guys sign non-competes because they don't want to leave like the Herman Miller dealer and then go
Right.
down the street to the Steelcase dealer and take their book of business.
Right.
I always say this: if you don't want to sign one, don't go work at that place.
But that's hard to say when you're looking for a job.
I never really looked for a
You're
job.
kind of you're kind of coerced into signing it.
That's why I work for myself.
Yeah. You didn't have to sign a non-compete with the school
Factories?
system. School system.
No,
We don't want you transferring to another county, buddy.
no. I mean, they're
Give
desperate
away
for
all our
people.
trade secrets.
Yeah.
Now, I usually do because I work in, high tech, if you will. And so they don't want me to, go over and say how this network's being
No,
designed
that makes sense.
versus another one. No, it doesn't. I'm so far down the tree. There's no way I'm walking out of there with
How
any
long are
inside
they?
knowledge.
How long is the term? 6 months or a year?
Uh, Actually, not too bad. 3 to 6 months generally.
Yeah, I don't like it when it takes money out of somebody's pocket.
And
Like I
that's what
can't go make a living.
they were trying to stop, right? And of course it was down party lines and you can guess which party voted for no, they're not binding and which party just based on their backgrounds. So, well, who would be in which party favors corporate America?
Well, it's hard to say these days.
No, to be honest, you know which party favors corporate America.
Well, big business is making their bed with the liberals left right now.
Well, big business puts their money in both parties, but you know which party generally goes.
So, are you saying the Republicans said no to the non-binding piece of it? They wanted to protect non-competes.
Yes.
I'd have to see the legislation to to speak to this
But
conversation.
that's how those two parties always operate.
Yeah,
Right.
I understand that part, but I'm just saying I'm not a big fan of non-competes. I think I understand where they could be practical, but I've
We
always
could
worked
never negotiate. My point is, we could never negotiate something rational because neither side would vote for it. So you have to make it all or nothing, and then they sit there and bicker about it the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know if we turn this into that type of show, but I always thought I would handle things differently if I got up there, where I would.
I don't think you'd be allowed to.
Well, and the more I learn some stuff that's going on, it's disgusting what's going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to do it.
It'd be really cool if 50 seats in the Senate went to people that were just willing to compromise, right? Because there would be enough power at that point that the norm, the people with a stronghold over everyone wouldn't be able to do that anymore.
Well, I don't like the word compromise either. So what I would do, I would advocate is, how about if 50 seats did what's right? And the next question is,
Yeah,
well,
but
who defines
what's
right?
right is always debatable. No, you'll forget every law, everything is a guess at what's going to happen, right? You're guessing that if I do B, America will do A, and vice versa. If I
Okay,
do
but
A, they'll do B.
if your principle was, I'm going to do right according to our belief system and the Constitution, and you as a
That's why we
person,
have a Supreme Court. If this Constitution was so black and white, we wouldn't have a Supreme Court.
well, here we go. This is our problem.
So
I just think if you did what's right, 90% of the problems would go away. But
I would say,
then you
and I
have to
would say
define what's right.
80% of Congress is trying to do what it believes that what they are doing is right.
I don't agree with you.
I do.
I think
I agree
doing,
with me every 100%
I
of
think
the
it's
time,
what
Dave.
they're doing is right for themselves.
I think they protect themselves. As we talked with inside trading, yeah, I'll enact this law, but give me an hour to call my broker.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more sinister than you and I are willing to admit to.
I don't believe it is. So
you got to get your head out of it. You and the
now, see you. There we go with the whole everything's a conspiracy. Yes. No, pretty much 99% of the time it's not.
All right. Let's get back to fart jokes, because those are the ones I can understand.
And those are the ones that sell.
Major subscribers.
Yes. By the way, please subscribe. Once again, I'm going to bring it up. Also on top of the screen, Dave puts, I'm going to change it to Twitter. I'm tired of calling it X. So your Twitter handle for the show is up.
Yeah, but does he call it Twitter anymore? I think it's morphing.
It's what?
It's morphing to X. He's not. Twitter's not in the lexicon anymore. Twitter's not the name. It's X.
Everybody still says X, formerly Twitter.
Well, no, everybody. That's a broad statement. When you say everybody, what are you talking about?
Here we go.
The natives in South America?
Yes.
In the Amazon?
I flew down there and I took a poll. I said, how many know X? They mean formerly Twitter? I said, thank you.
Okay.
And I walked out of there.
You can chew on this root and eat some piranhas.
Right. Eat some. Do people?
I don't care what you put up there, Woody, because we're
not getting a whole lot of action on the Twitter.
Action. Why don't you just put pictures of
naked ladies?
Kill. Yeah, don't do that one. All right, I don't know what we're doing. We're losing people by the droves. Did I talk about spaghetti westerns?
No, please.
Well, it just came to mind today, and what I was I think I was relaying to one of my kids. Well, let me back up. Have you seen this study? I got to do some research on this for the next show, but there's a fellow who's been studying cell phone and tablet use amongst this generation that's 15 years old. This group of kids because 15 years ago apparently is when this tablet cell phone became the hybrid babysitter for our children. And so they're starting to take these devices away from these kids to see what their reactions are. And it's complete meltdown from the kids. And then they're studying
what age group?
15 and below. And so what they've realized is that this. I've seen some video. I need to do some more research, but they've got this several pictures of these kids, excuse me, that they've taken their cell phone away from them, and in their sleep, they're scrolling. Their hands are acting like they have a cell phone device in their hands.
Wouldn't that be the case even if they still had their device?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't think taking it away would change that behavior.
Well, I think what they're trying to say is we got ourselves a problem. I don't, I kind of understand. Yeah, I know.
For those watching YouTube, I'm playing around with my head.
All right, we'll switch that. So that's
No, I'm just kidding.
no, I'm kind of lost anyway. I need to get some more data. But the other thing was spaghetti westerns. We were talking with some of the kids today. I think the subject came up, what are you doing over the summer? And I reflected upon when I was a kid, we had a theater in Orlando called the Rocking Chair Theater. Did you ever go there? Over by
No,
the Colonial Mall. And they had rocking chairs. It was really cool.
like wooden ones or like a
No,
recliner?
they were like Lazy Boy, real thick back and
Yeah,
seating.
they're bringing that back now.
Man, I would love to have a whole row of those things in my man cave. That would have been really cool.
You mean they're not over there to your left?
No.
Huh.
So anyway, our parents would drop us off, but I thought it was spaghetti westerns. It turns out spaghetti westerns were filmed in Italy, in Europe, and it was a movement, a subgenre of Western movies. And it became known as spaghetti western because several Italian directors were at the leading edge of this genre. And so what I was trying to get to was comedy westerns. And you may remember a brazen group from the Old West called the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Yes, that's in fact, you mentioned an old theater, and I'll put a picture of mine up. When I was a kid, I lived in Easton, Pennsylvania, and my parents would take us to the State Theater, which was an old like opera house converted into a movie theater. And
Huh.
I'll put a picture of it because apparently someone has fixed it up now. It was a dump when I was there as a kid. But and I that's clearly remember seeing the Apple Dumpling Gang, all the Disney movies we'd go see, Don Knotts and all those on
Yeah,
a
Tim
Saturday afternoon.
Conway.
Yeah, because Saturday afternoons they'd do a kids movie, and then Saturday evening would be a parents movie. So,
Yeah, and I was just reflecting to the kids that our parents would drop us off at the mall, at the equivalent of the mall, basically, is where this place was. And they would like vacate. I mean, because mom and dad or mom was probably smoking cigarettes and drinking with their friends or something. I don't know what they were doing, but I think it was like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We'd get lunch. Mom would feed us lunch, or maybe it was in the morning. I can't remember. But we would be at the theater, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 hours, like maybe a
give them
double.
2 bits, and you get in.
There was
Is that how
nothing to
long?
it.
Is that how long ago it was, Dave? You gave him 2 bits.
2 bits. What's that, 50 cents?
I have no idea what a bit is. I
Well, you
just know it.
negotiated a whole 100 bits for us.
Now that was basis points, Dave.
Same thing.
You know, it's almost time for that. You realize we've been on over a year now.
Well, I know we're in season 5, episode 8 tonight.
Now tonight would be 9, I believe.
We're close.
So
A year.
48 and 9, yeah. 57.
Wow, seems like yesterday.
Ah,
Can you believe we've been talking every week?
for 57 weeks.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, we should get
And
an
the fact that
award
we
or
haven't,
something.
the thing we haven't talked for 35 years.
Prior to.
Yeah. And it's like we just picked up where we left off.
Yeah. Except you're a curmudgeon, and I'm pretty much the same.
Yeah. But anyway, spaghetti westerns. Do you
Yeah.
know the number one spaghetti western ranked?
What is a spaghetti western?
So I told you, it's a western subgenre.
I know you told me, but we didn't tell the audience.
Oh, that's right. It's a subgenre of western movies, and they were produced in Italy for the most part, in Europe, but Italy, there's some desert in northern Italy, I think it is. I don't know where it is. But it was a desert where they shot all these films. They made these makeshift towns, and there's one or two directors, Italian directors, who were the leading in this industry that did this. And there was a handful of American and Italian actors that basically they made from the 1960s, late 50s through the 60s, early 70s. This genre ran rampant, and some great ones came out of it.
I was not a Western fan, so
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was probably known as the number one spaghetti Western. Clint Eastwood was a main character in that movement. Once Upon a Time in the West, for a few dollars more. I remember that one. The Great Silence, The Big Gun Down, Django.
they redid that one, right?
I don't know. A Fistful of
It was
Dollars.
Django Unchained. That's what it was.
Yeah. Okay. A Fistful of Dollars. The Mercenary. That was a series, apparently. Death Rides a Horse, and Companeros. Companeros was a
Companeros, yeah. Isn't that a cowboy?
I don't know. It's probably something Italian. It's a coffee and a
They
six
made a
shooter.
whole movie about a
Let me get a
coffee.
Campanero with a Colt 45. Anyway, so spaghetti western was something that kind of popped in my head today. But I thought spaghetti western was kind of a spoof name, but it turns out the things we're talking about with Don Knotts, I think that was a spoof on spaghetti westerns
It makes sense.
because they
Yeah.
came out in the late mid 70s, the Disney versions of them. So I think that was their version of spaghetti westerns to make fun of. But anyway, I digress. Anyone who knows what I'm talking about, please weigh in or not. We must be getting close to the end. I came off the football field tonight. I was going to wear my garb.
I know. I was going to make fun of you if you did. But
Well, I decided against it in the end.
so why are you making your kids practice football in spring?
It's spring football.
What's that got to do with it? You think they're going to remember anything when fall rolls around?
I don't know if it's really about the kids. I think it's for the coaching staff to get a look and see what we got. Because the time that we've got to do this is ridiculous. It's
Well, you can't.
20
There's so
days.
yeah, say very limited time to teach kids. That's why I asked you last year how many plays you run. Was it like 3?
We finished
Junior high. This junior high.
We finished the season with an offense that had 12 plays that we could have run. I think I ran about 6.
And do you have a bunch of kids on the sideline holding up different signs so the opposing team doesn't steal anything?
No, there's a guy in high school that does that, though. There's a guy that coaches here in high school. In fact, I coached with him, and part of my job was to hold those signs up.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and it was sheer stupidity.
Okay, thank you for
But
validating what I think.
so people would come up to me and goes, man, we were tracking your because they had like weird things on them, like a pizza,
Right.
slice of pizza, or or something crazy. And so I'm looking at the guy, and he goes, "I'm going, are we really doing this?" He goes, "Yeah, you got to do it because it'll throw them off." And I'm like, "Okay." So I really got into it. I got into it. So we'd be like on a third down and short, and I'd be like holding it up, like going, "Come on, this is the one."
Right.
And you'd see the whole rest of the coaching staff across the field, like, "What's he holding up? What's he holding up?"
It's pizza. What's pizza? Are they hungry?
So finally, someone asked me, "Goes, what does that mean, Theus?" And I'm like, "Nothing. I don't know. It makes my arms tired."
The school my kids went to, the high school my kids went to, the coach has the quarterback run to him every play.
That's what we did.
Oh, that's brutal. The kids down there, they're like doing a goal line stand and they're making a poor bastard run back 25 yards every play.
He's in shape though.
Every play to get.
I made him run to the hash mark.
And then you would yell the play.
To the numbers.
Okay. Now they would come all the way to the sideline so he could tell them the play. I'm like, this is
so this guy that
ridiculous.
I coached with, they signed him in. So the big sign that you held up was part of that charade, but we signed plays in. So he had 3 coaches giving signs. I'm not picking.
He went way overboard, right? Is what you're saying.
Well, so what you did is you had a dummy.
Right.
One of the guys, so I got to do that because I look like a dummy.
I was going to say, were you the dummy?
So one time I said, look, I don't want to hold these things anymore. And he goes, well, then you can be the dummy sign. So you're over there like on third base, that coach that does all these things on his own.
Yeah.
And so
You're
I'm
making
like, I
up
got
stuff.
Tourette's and some sort of spastic problem. And I'm over there doing these signs, and people are looking at me like, what are you doing, Theus? I'm like, I don't know. I got disco playing in my ears, and I'm
I'm
dancing.
dancing.
So they
Hey, man,
made
we got to wrap this up. It's putting practice night here at the Woody household.
putty practice.
Putting.
Oh,
What
with
do you think we
a
are? What do you think?
ball.
We're lunatics?
You think we're animals?
Putty? Putty?
Silly putty?
No, putting. Putting, like in golf.
Did you like silly putty as a kid?
I loved it.
Did you like the smell of it?
I used to chew on it like bubble gum, Dave.
Seriously,
No.
the smell though.
Yeah, the smell was rancid, right? If I remember
Oh
right.
no, I love the smell of silly putty. Like a new can, you'd open that sucker up and it was moist.
Dave gets silly putty for Christmas. He's like, oh boy. And he opens up.
Seriously, that stuff smelled.
Bobby, let me see your silly putty. Don't open it yet. I want to get a whiff of that action.
We haven't used Alexis at all today.
Yeah, we did.
Alexis, why does silly putty smell so good?
It doesn't.
Alexis.
Yeah, that's why she's not
Why
answering.
does silly putty smell so good?
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm right. That's the first right answer she's gotten in weeks.
Okay, anyone out there listening that has the same weird thing that Dave does about silly putty and the way it smells as a child?
Do you like 3-day-old cigarettes too, Dave? Ashtrays? Is that a good smell too?
Kinda.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of that.
Did you ever eat paste?
No, but you had to put it on. You remember, you make yourself like an extra layer of skin, and you could
That's
peel.
glue. That was Elmer's glue.
What do you call paste? What's the difference between paste and Elmer's glue?
Paste is like mayonnaise, like paste. I never understood. I think you did something with paste, like when we were kindergartners or something.
You smell it.
Oh,
Oh, here's something kids don't get to do anymore. Remember the old reproduction machines?
copy machines. Yeah, I was telling someone about that the other day.
Man, the kids, they hand out their fresh one. Everybody's getting high off the ink.
What, we had to have it was like a printing press. They had to,
Yeah.
you had to burn a metal plate for that thing or something.
No, it was had a negative with ink on it, and you would run the paper.
How did you make the negative? Did you put your copy into a machine and took a picture with a light or something?
You typed on this paper that would then the impression would cause a negative on the copy paper, and then you put the copy paper on that drum.
Yeah.
Didn't you ever get allowed to do the copies?
Yeah,
man?
no, we would fight for it.
Yeah, because they got you out of class for half an hour.
Well, and that smell was
intoxicating.
What was that? It was probably huffing at the time.
It was ink. No way she'll know how to answer. You have no way to ask this question to Alexa.
There was a name for that process. It was called
reproducing. Oh, mimeograph? Was that it?
Okay, Pat Kelly, weigh in.
Hey, he's too high on ink.
What's that called? Alexa, what did they call copy paper in the 70s? Alexa, how did we make copies in 1970s?
From thenextweb.com. Back then, people used something called carbon paper to make copies of documents.
Right, that's what I was saying. Mimeograph. I thought I was right. Mimeograph.
Alexa, what is a mimeograph?
Sorry, I don't know that.
Yeah, she's not old enough.
Alexa, what chemical was used in mimeograph?
From newworldencyclopedia.org. Sarin is one of diverse nerve agents, also referred to as nerve gases, though these chemicals are liquid at room temperature, which are a class of phosphorus-containing organic chemicals, phosphates,
no wonder we
disrupt
liked
the mechanism by which...
So nerve gas. No wonder we felt so good about it. Can you look it up?
Yeah, the emulsion commonly uses turkey red oil, sulfated castor oil, which gives it a distinctive and heavy scent. Had a lanolin base.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the right one, but anyhow, we're running out of time, so we can't get too. Hey, our doctor should weigh in on this one. I bet you he'd know.
Yeah, Lucas, come on.
Shoot this straight.
What's the chemical compound behind the mimeograph?
Were we getting high in
Why
fifth
did we like
grade?
it? Well, those secretaries were a little loopy up at the principal's office. That's where it all
That's
happened.
where you had to go. See, usually you had to make the copies if you were in trouble or you were the goody two shoes in the class and got to go to the principal's office.
I always got a kick because we'd go to the principal's office and Mrs. whatever her name was smoking a cigarette right there. And you walk in and go, "Can I help you, boys?"
Did she have the horn rim glasses with the diamonds?
She was drawing
and
on
the pearl chains.
Yeah, exactly. That was at the Trinity Lutheran private school.
Oh, you were hoity-toity. You went all private school.
We had shorts and high socks.
I was public.
All right,
school
what else?
From
Before
beginning
it is
time to wrap up. We've been at it. So.
Okay. Well, this has been an interesting program as usual. We never do anything as normal, but we do want to thank our listeners that weighed in and said hello. We appreciate you guys so much, and we're just encouraged that you're finding us
listenable.
Yeah, whatever. All right. Well, I'm Dave.
I'm Woody.
And this again has been a pseudo titillating episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody. And please remember to subscribe and thumbs up our channel, and share if you feel so led to do so. And if you don't want to wreck the car by watching a video, listen to us on Spotify or wherever you take your podcasts. And when I say take your podcast, I think you know what I mean.
Castor oil.
Applesauce. Don't forget about the applesauce, folks. It keeps it moving. All right, we're out. Peace. I don't hit this damn button again.